Greetings, friends and listeners. I am Joanna Barbola, and you're listening to the launch of Divulge Divino. Divulge Divino is an entertainingly sassy wine and art book which will cultivate your senses and arouse your palate. Come with me as we journey into the wonderful world of exotic wines that promise to stir your passions and invite wonder into your world. Each chapter will come alive as you experience a beautiful collaboration of one of a kind abstract art and sensual wines that will absolutely leave you breathless. All of my abstract art, including vibrant paintings, home products, and accessories, can be found on artreflectionsdesign.threadless.com. Also available in my Etsy shop. You will find additional eclectic paintings, fancy high heels, and matching purses. Search for the shop named Art Reflections Design, and you will have the opportunity to enhance your home or office with original and unique abstract art. Now, for the best part. You may purchase my book, Divulge Divino, available in both paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com. Don't delay, supplies limited. Now, for today's entrepreneurial guest, I would love to introduce all of you to the lovely and beautiful Laura Tria. Laura Tria is a visionary who believes knowing our spiritual and whole past will ground us and help us build a brighter, healthier, and happy future for ourselves and our children. She is an inner power life coach, spiritual counselor, Master Reiki Practitioner, and author of Her Story, a feminine interpretation of ancient knowledge. Hello, hello, Laura. Welcome to Divulge Divino.
Well, thank you. And I have to start off by saying your description of Divulge Divino and everything that you said that you present life in a sensual kind of way. And so just to start off, that is what the feminine side to spirituality is. It's the sensual side, not necessarily sensual as in sexual, but sensual as in feeling and really exploring all the beauty of life.
Absolutely, absolutely. Laura and I go way back about 4 years or so, and I am an active participant in her beautiful monthly moon celebration. So, Laura, please tell us all about how you got started in the feminine divine and your journey, and if you had any particular mentors that come to mind that you'd like to share.
So I will share, and thank you for asking.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many layers to it. There's so many layers to it. I knew when I was 5 years old that I wanted to be a priest. And of course they told me you can't do that. And I thought, yeah, but whoever this God guy is, people come together and they sing and they're liking each other, and somebody wears a really fabulous outfit and does magic in the front of the room. And I thought, oh, yeah, I got to work for this guy because it sounds so good. And they said, of course, no, a girl can't do that. And so I said, well, okay, then I'll be a nun. That seemed to be what girls do. And then I became an adolescent. And in adolescent, I wanted to have sex. I want to have a boyfriend. I want to get married, all those things. And I realized, oh, they're not allowed to do that. So this God guy doesn't want me, period, no matter what avenue I take. And in that, I, even as a child, was open to finding, well, what wants me just the way I am? Female, spiritual, leadership. And it took until I was in my 30s to find her. And when I found her, that's when I was finally able to accept the him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so the monthly circles that I do are for women to find their divine, fabulous, deliciousness self.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they are.
And they're so nurturing and they're so lovely, and your sisters are so, so beautiful. And every time I go, I look forward to them. And even though I'm on Zoom here in Tampa and you're on Long Island, I still feel like I'm there, even though I'm not there. And I keep saying to myself, I'm going to fly in monthly just so I can come into your backyard and join all those lovely women.
Oh, and and so that's part of the teaching is that life is alive. And so even though you're on Zoom, you get to
Hmm.
feel it because it's real.
Yeah.
We all create that energy together, and you are one of the sisters as well.
Hmm.
It's outstanding. So understanding the feminine is also understanding metaphysics. Everything is alive.
Hmm.
And everything is the source of life. And so all of the good, the bad, the ugly, it's all part of the deal. And when we embrace it all, we live a more balanced, healthy life.
Mhm, mhm. Tell me about your published book. I so enjoyed it. I think I finished it in maybe 3, 4 days. I could not put it down. It was fabulous. Tell me about that.
Sure. Well, and thank you for asking. The one of my newer clients, because I'm also a counselor, one of my newer clients read it in 3 hours. She just sat. It's 92 pages. It's a
Yes.
easy read and it's filled with depth.
Mhm,
And that's exactly what I wanted it to be. So about my book, I have been circling, that's what we call it. We call it circling
mhm. Right.
with women since 1997, I think. Once a month since 1997, which means I'm
Wow.
getting up there in years, but it's all good. And in the beginning, it was a secret because people were freaked out by anybody coming together in circle. What did that mean?
Mhm,
So
mhm,
I used to get passed around from house to house to house, and the women would come together and we would bang the drums and bring down the moon and light the candles and sing the chants and meditate, and it's wonderful.
mhm,
And after doing 20 years of it, I said, okay, I'm done. I'm done. And I was inspired and moved by an essence that I cannot name. I mean, part of me wants to say Mary Magdalene. Why not? That's who I tend to resonate with. But something that moved me and guided me, and I just kept saying yes. And so when I thought I was done, I said, okay, I'll write a book. And I'll write the book so that even though I'm done, everyone can still take this information and move forward. So I went on
mhm,
Amazon and I decided to self-publish because I didn't want anybody telling me what words I had to use. And I wrote my book. And when I was finally finished streaming all this wonderful information, I clicked on send and I didn't know the book was going to take off, and it did. Women were loving it. They were passing it on to their daughters, their friends, etc. And so I started doing seminars on the book. So I'm not done, but I did
mhm.
walk into another chapter. The book is delicious for finding out our herstory.
Yes, there's so much rich history,
Yeah.
that it's just really wonderful to uncover, especially if you don't know too much about it, to really
Yeah.
dive into the feminine divine and our ancestors and what they went through and the lives they lived. It's so interesting, and it's really very fulfilling to really be able to find out who you are, and you do that by finding out who your ancestors are. So,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely. And I
Mhm.
have so many women that read the book, and what happens is in snippets, they just get oh, right, right.
Mhm.
I know that.
Yeah.
We've been taught to speak a very masculine language. So humanity is called mankind, and ancient folk are called cavemen. And up until recently, everything we found out in medicine and so on, they use the male person as the template.
Mhm.
Well, we're not that.
Right.
And
What
there
about
was
us? What about us?
there was cave women, you know,
Yes.
and
Right.
the moon is huge in our lives.
Mhm.
So huge that we can manage our life by the gravitational pull.
Mhm.
And a lot of women in this day and age don't even realize that. They
Right.
think that they bleed 12 times a year, and that's wrong. They bleed 13 times a year because it's the moon that regulates them and not the calendar.
Mhm,
Yeah, it's just
mhm.
all kinds of
Right.
delicious stuff like that.
Exactly, and so many women need to be educated on this because they're not aware of it, and they listen to their doctors and they don't listen to the feminine divine, and, they're ignorant as to what's really going on with women, in the
Yeah,
lives of women. Um,
yeah.
and the moon celebrations are so spectacular, and it's such community, and I love how we do the singing, the chants, and the drumming. I mean,
Oh,
I'm so excited about the drumming. I joined a drum circle here in Tampa that I do monthly. I found a moon celebration in person that I just started with that is really fun. A little different than yours, but it's just really great to be part of it. Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
Community is everything.
Unity is everything, exactly, and to be with like-minded people is so, so important. So tell me a little more about the life coaching, the vision. I know you're a visionary, and every time I talk to you, I feel the vibes and I feel the sensualness coming out of you. And tell me about the life coaching. When did that start?
Probably at birth. There's some of us who just really enjoy assisting another and having an insight
Mhm,
and a patience and a wanting to know about the other persons. And so many years ago in my 20s and teens, it was evident. And I remember my therapist saying to me, you really should go in to be a psychiatrist or a psychoanalysis and all these things. And I said, no, because then I'm not being ruled by my instinct anymore and by my love and by my compassion. Instead, I'll be ruled by paperwork and all that kind of thing. So
mhm,
I designed life coaching. I'm also an interfaith minister, which allows me to counsel. And
mhm,
I designed my life coaching around getting to know you. So I don't have your answers, but I'm really good at helping you find your answers, your wisdom. We
mhm,
all have it. We all have this rich, wonderful wisdom if only someone knew how to pull it from us so that
mhm,
we can deal with life. So my clients are such a variety of people, and I believe in them. I believe in them, and because I believe in them, I'm able to help.
mhm,
So
mhm,
my life coaching business is flourishing as everything else, and I find that flourishing, for anything to flourish for me, you have to be in alignment with what you really believe.
mhm,
Just like you're starting this podcast, just like you do your artwork,
mhm.
it's
Exactly.
yours. And when you
I am.
do your passion,
Mhm,
the universe kind of falls in line to
mhm.
assist you.
It does, and it's all the positivity that helps it too, because you're so happy, because you're enriching your soul, and it's just, then you become even more and more aligned with the universe, and the more good comes to you, and the more happiness comes to you, and the more people come to you that are good for you, and they come into your world, and that's really what it's all about. I mean, that's how I met you, and that's
And
how I
that's how I
started.
met you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
I do want to
exactly.
say, though, that the universe doesn't have in my opinion and in my philosophy, the universe does not have a good or a bad. It doesn't care. It's not a human.
Mhm.
It is an organism. It's an essence that we run. We're the center of it. And so if you want to be evil and if you want to do nasty things in the world, then you can do that as well. So it's going to give you whoever you're being. And I'm one of those people like yourself. I'm filled with love and light, and that's how I choose to see the world.
Mhm,
That's
mhm,
exactly the life I live. I have a magical, wonderful life.
mhm. Can you share with us a short chant that you do in your moon celebrations? And let me
Mhm.
think if I maybe know it.
Oh, you'll know. I'll make sure I do one that you know. I'll make sure that you. I don't know if Zoom will pick up on it, but we'll make sure we do one
The
that you
the
know.
one that I know really well is Earth My Body.
Oh, okay, okay, all right.
That's the only one that I can always recall, and the ending of the moon celebration. But
Okay.
if you wanna share with us another one, because you have such a beautiful voice when you sing, I'd love
People
to
say
hear it. I'd
truth is
love
I I honestly do not know how to hold a tune, but when I'm in it, it just comes out right.
It sounds
So we
fabulous.
sing Earth My Body. We sing that after we begin the circle, when we first begin circle. Because
Hmm.
first we are acknowledging that we don't lord over anything, but instead we are part of the earth, the sun, the sky, and the sea. It is us and we are it. It's a reflection of us. We are a reflection of it. So when we speak of the earth, we're speaking of our bodies. When we're speaking of the water of the earth, we're speaking of our blood. When we're speaking of the heat of the sun and fire, we're speaking of our spirit. And when we're speaking of air, we're speaking of life's constant changes and flow.
Hmm. Hmm.
So the chant goes like this. It goes, Earth our body, water our blood, air our breath, and fire our spirit. Earth our body, water our blood, air our breath, and fire our spirit.
Spirit.
Earth our body, water our blood, air our breath, and fire our spirit.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
That's one
Thank
of
you.
my favorite. That's one
It's
of
a
my
lot of fun.
Yeah, and when I started this moon celebration, we're supposed to actually have another one monthly. So this Thursday, but we're expecting a storm, so that might be canceled.
Oh,
Yeah, and I was so excited because I waited all month for this celebration. Since the last one, I had such a good time. I went out, I got a drum, I've been practicing.
oh,
So
wonderful.
yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So do you have lessons that you share with the drumming, or did you just like how did that all come about with the circle?
So when I desperately, desperately like to nourish my spirit,
Hmm.
and when I was in my 30s trying out every religion under the sun, none of them worked because none of them wanted me as a female. It's just, it's the way of religion. There's hierarchies in politics and that kind of.
Yes, yes.
And there was a an interfaith service that I went to, and on the dais, on the stage, was a man and a woman. And I thought, oh my God, it's about time. They were sharing it. One of them
Yes.
was a Pentecostal woman, the other one was a rabbi, and they were sharing the stage. And in the audience was everything you could think of. And the only downside of it for me was that it was on a Sunday. And I don't adhere to, you have to work two jobs and then on a Sunday you have to spend the whole day honoring something. And I was like, when do we get a day off, people?
Mhm.
So Sunday bothered me. But that day that I went, a few of the women announced that they were going to do their first feminine divine circle, and it was going to be on a Friday. I said, well, okay, Friday I can do. So
Nice.
I showed up to create it with them.
Mhm.
And one of the women, Ellen, who is a dear, wonderful mentor of mine, Ellen is a singer. And she said, well, we can't bring women together unless they're singing. Okay. And one of them was a native of this continent. And she said, well, we can't come together unless we're drumming. Okay.
Ah, okay.
And so the four of us created this chanting, drumming, fabulous, wonderful circle of which we become part of everything and part of each other. And the women of circle don't hang out with each other all month. We come together when we can. And when there's way over 200 of us, and whoever shows up when they do.
Oh, wow, 200. That is
Easy.
some sacred circle.
It is. And do you
Wow,
know,
200. That's fabulous. Oh, I wish I was in Long Island.
well, create one for me. Get me a group and I'll come down and do it with
I
you.
know. I'll have to talk to my women friends and especially at the moon celebration and see if anyone's doing it in person,
There you
other
go.
than the local church that we use. Yeah, so that's fantastic. Now you were telling me your next moon celebration is on Monday.
Yeah, it's the last month, except for October.
Mhm.
It is the last Monday of every month, and we don't call it a moon celebration because the moon, it's not about a particular day of the moon. It's
Mhm.
just an acknowledgement of the moon and the sun and the earth and all that. So it is the monthly feminine divine circle, and it's on the last Monday of every month. And if you like, I can pass out the Zoom link, or you can.
I
And
will add it. Yes, absolutely, when I promote it. And also, don't you have a Facebook, I'm sorry, a meetup group? Do you still have that?
I have the meetup group. That's how so many people find us.
That's
But
how I found you, with the
on
meetup group.
Meetup,
Yeah.
so people can go to lauratria.com.
Mhm.
lauratria.com. So that's Laura, Tria, Tria.com. There's a calendar of events. There's me. There's my contact information. So many people find me that way as well.
Mhm, mhm, and they have
As
the link to the meetup, or to the divine circle, the
Yes,
feminine
it does.
circle?
It's on the calendar. Absolutely. And
Oh,
there's the link,
wonderful.
and the Zoom link is on there as well.
Okay, and now what about the coaching? If anyone was interested in coaching with you, they can do that through
Through the
your
website
website?
as well. All they have to do, my contact information is right there. A phone call doesn't cost a thing. Phone
Mhm,
call is for us to get to know each other, and does it click? We both know we have instinct. Does it click?
mhm,
Then we
mhm.
move forward.
And where in Long Island are you?
I am in Bayshore, Long Island.
Bayshore. And where do you do your coaching?
Everything is right here. I have an office. I'm sitting in my office at home, and I
Mhm.
also work a lot on Zoom. And
Ah,
for some people, they find more privacy on a
mhm.
telephone.
Ah.
So depends on the person.
Okay, so you're very flexible. You do it over Zoom, over the phone, or in person. That's good to know.
Absolutely.
That's good to know, listeners. You can always get to Laura on lauratria.com. Is there anywhere else that anybody can find anything about you? Your book, you said, is available
It's
on
on Amazon,
Amazon.
or you could buy it from my website, but it's also available on Amazon.
Okay.
And so the whole title of the book is because other people have herstory titles out there.
Yes, I saw that. Hmm.
Yeah, so it's herstory, a feminine interpretation of ancient knowledge. And that's the three phases of the moon right there. And that's all of us in circle.
Yes, and I love the graphic. That was another thing that was so appealing to me when I
Thank
saw
you.
the graphics and I saw the color, and it was so vibrant. It reminded me of the color of Divulge Divino, with
Oh,
all the
that is so
colors.
exciting.
Yeah, and it's just it really speaks to you with the vibrancy and the warm colors and
Yeah.
yeah,
Is that your cover? Is
yes.
that the painting that I've seen you sit in front of 100 times?
Probably. Is
I
one of my
love that.
Mine's Construction is the name of the title of the painting, and, I think this was one of the ones I probably did during COVID. I mean, I did so much painting when we went through COVID. I
When we were
needed to
doing lockdown.
Yeah, I needed to really, just keep my mind going, and it was just such a creative time for me. It really, really was, so
You know, Joanna, you're not the only one. People found
yeah.
themselves in that lockdown. It opened us up.
It did. It changed people. I know
Yeah.
people relocated way before I did, changed, positions, changed careers way before I did,
Yeah.
with this whole COVID thing, especially New York City people, Manhattanites, I
Yeah.
mean, that was one of the reasons why I had to relocate, I would just after 30 years, my career was gone, and I knew I needed to start fresh. I knew I needed to possibly reinvent myself, and I did reinvent myself as a teacher. I reinvented myself as a women's rights activist and a self-published author. And I think that happened because COVID happened. I wonder if I would have made all of these reinventions if the pandemic never happened. It's interesting.
How does it go? Something, necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
heard that so many times. And there's people who have shifted their whole life because they kind of had to.
Right. They it was a forced hand. Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what it was for me.
And people don't want to go back.
No, no.
No, we
Although I
don't.
would, I think I'm the only one that still wants to go back to New York. I love
Oh,
New
well,
York.
there's a lot of people that
You
want to go. Once
Yeah,
you're a New Yorker, if you're a real New
that's
Yorker,
it.
it's hard to
That's it.
leave.
It's hard to leave the mannerism, the people,
It's
the
so true.
lifestyle. It's just you're you're just a New Yorker through and through, and it's so easy to relate to other New Yorkers and Long Islanders. So, um, it was a pleasure to have you on today, Laura. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us? Any last minute thoughts that you'd like to share with our listeners,
You know,
especially the women that are listening? Is there any kind of words of wisdom as a
I
life?
can say this. I can say this. Each woman has a voice deep within her that has been managed by her strength to manage it and to keep it down. And for the women who have the courage to take that same strength and allow that voice to come up, you can take on your life so differently. So I would love to share more information with anyone who has the courage and the desire to want to live.
It's wonderful. Thank
And it
you.
has been so much fun being with you. Thank
Has
you.
been. It's great. We always see each other in circle, but it's never one-on-one. So I'm so glad we had this time together.
Thank you,
Thank you
Joanna.
so much. Thank you
And I
so much
wish
for
you all the
joining.
best with this podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. You take care.
You take care. Bye bye.
Bye.